Hey guys, Bob from Scareware here, and today we're going to talk about clay. I use water-based clay a lot. Not wet clay as often as just plain old water-based clay. I really like it, and that's what I use. So what happens when you leave a clay sculpture out that's made out of water-based clay is it can crack. I mean, it'll take a while before it starts to crack because when it comes in a bag, it's really moist and it'll last you a long time. So I mean, you can sculpt for quite a while. This has been sitting out for days. So yes, typically now he is a crackhead. I mean, he's cracked out really, really bad. Ways to avoid this: keep it covered at the end of the night. Spray it down with a water bottle and cover it over with a plastic bag. Tape around it. That also will help from keeping any of the air getting into the piece. But I mean, the main thing is to bulk out your sculpture, get it all looking nice, and then, by that point, once you're happy with your forms and everything, it'll start to dry out on its own, just naturally, But you can keep it moist if you want to by using it as a spray bottle. But as it gets harder, that's when you can start getting into your finer forms and eventually getting into detailing. But this piece right here is done. He's served his purpose. He was $10 in clay, and now it's garbage. But if you say you left this overnight and it started doing this to you, you went in the house and you totally forgot to spray them down and cover them over, you might be able to salvage this piece. It would take a lot of bathing to get this back to a workable state, but you could salvage it. I mean, if you watch right now, okay, so it's pretty much a pitch white kind of color, or light gray, not white, but very, 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 very light. So I just have a bottle here with water, and if I start to spray it, watch the color here. Right away, that clay is absorbing that water, sucking it in. It's sucking it in fast because this thing's completely dried out. But if you keep doing that, you'll eventually get it to be back to a workable state. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to soak it, get a towel, soak a towel, put that over top of it, wrap it with a bag, and you might be able to get it back. But it's a lot of work. I mean, so is sculpting. Sculpting is a lot of work, so you don't want to have your sculpture be destroyed because you did not look after it. But in any case, this is what happens. This is garbage for me because I take this piece, I'm done with it. I took that, went from that to, a finished hard piece of plastic, a resin, and that's what that turned into. And then from there we go to a finished piece. So, I mean, my clay has served its $10 purpose. I'm happy with that. This is going into the garbage. I just have not taken it off the sculpting form yet. But yeah, look after your clay. Because if you don't, you could cry yourself to sleep and be like, I spent all that time and now it's destroyed. But yeah, there is ways around it and keeping it nice and moist and firm and ready to sculpt with. I mean, for beginners out there, I recommend using an oil-based clay. Monster Makers, Chavant, any of those kind of mediums are, will last forever. I have sculptures sitting around the shop that have been sitting for years. Nothing's wrong with them. So I mean, it's one of those things. If you don't have time or you get busy, it's good to have a different medium to use because you don't want to end up in this boat. I mean, you could leave this under a bag for a couple of weeks and something could still happen and it could become unusable. So I'll get some close-ups of this crackhead here and you can take a look. So look at that. That's just nasty. Those are some serious cracks right there. This has been sitting out though for probably 3 or 4 days. So I mean, it goes to show you, I mean, it can last a while. But watch when I come around the back. It's pretty exploded. Look at that's pretty beat up. So you have to fill that all in with clay, and I don't know. That's a lot of damage. Okay, so here's a perfect example of if you look after a sculpture, it will last. This has been about a month and a half, 2 months in the works, kind of on and off sculpting it, taking the bag on and off, and doing some detailing and work here and there on it. So as long as you keep this thing, moist with water, my spray bottle, and I mean you just spray it. You just spray it good, get them all soaked down, and then once you have this piece all soaked down, you're good. Just take your plastic bag, cover them over, make sure it's pushed up against there. Don't push too hard because you don't want to, destroy any of your work that you have done. But that's it. Now he's safe and sound under his bag, and he's good until I'm going to work on him again. So there you have it. Just look after your clay, and it'll look after you. Till next time. Later.